Cloud. I don't have. And we are live. This is Full Contact Sports with me, Griff Gambino, and my boy E Money, also known as Ethan. I'm also known as Griff. It's a shorthand for that. This is going to be episode number 4, and today's is going to be a super episode because we have a lot of ground to cover up because a lot of shit has happened since our last episode. Lots of fights, but really we're going to cover since the last fight. As of this date, a beautiful September 7th, 2022, the year of our Lord. It is the week after the Royal Rumble in Paris, where we had a Tuivasa or Tuivasa?
Tai Tuivasa.
Tai Tuivasa. Tuivasa get absolutely outclassed by a serial gone, or as I call him, the serial killer. I mean,
all that man Kellogg's.
He is a fucking killer.
He's an animal. And all credit to Ty. I mean, I don't know if there's a tougher heavyweight on the planet, to be honest with you. It's just pure physical toughness to be able to take a beating. I mean, that was just, it was, and he cracked him, he dropped him, but just a pure technical masterclass by Cyril Gane.
The best way I can describe his striking, it's not even quite like kung fu, or you know what I'm talking about, where it's just like it's such a wide stance, but he's so like you wouldn't be able to tell just off stance alone that he was a Muay Thai guy, because he's like the complete antithesis to like, hey, here it's almost like a fucking Taekwondo stance in a way, and then all of a sudden he like squares up the moment the only person on the fucking planet who fights like that is like Sugar Sean.
Yeah, he has a really, really wide stance, and he's very he has very linear movement. So he's in and out, in and out, in and out, which is indicative of a Taekwondo movement and stance style. But his striking using all limbs, which would be Muay Thai. Well, technically all limbs would be left way, but Muay Thai, he's very
all but one.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. But he just, if, like I texted you the other day, if he didn't make that silly mistake against Francis Ngannou, that would Tai Tuivasa would be his first title defense.
Yeah,
and that's just the fact.
Did you watch really early in the fight? Because again, the first time they have a fucking fight in Paris, within 30 minutes, the fucking Englishmen are complaining that, God, it smells like cigarettes in here.
Yeah.
Because they're like saying, it's the first fight. I'll let me pull it up here in the split screen real quick.
I have a feeling that wasn't cigarettes either.
No, it's France. It would be both.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why I'm like, they didn't quit Marlboro ads on like F1 in France until like 2010.
Why are they obsessed with cigarettes?
Because their standard of living is so bad. Oh, well, I mean, it's decreasing, but where did I have it? Right over here. That's this card. I don't know. They like to drink a lot. They don't really eat as much as we do in terms of carb load, so they just smoke a lot of cigarettes, partly why they thin. Yeah. I'm not even joking. Like,
no, it's true. And drink a lot of wine.
The only people who fucking smoke than they have are like, for whatever reason, the people who come from mainland China.
Ooh, yeah, the Chinese smoke a ton.
Because, like, I mean, me and him both went to Auburn, and a lot of the students there, like a lot of the exchange students who'd come over, I mean, they were, what would you say, an average of a pack a day? 2 pack a day?
Easily.
On average.
These guys are like 18, 19, 20 years old, just pounding cigs.
Like, they're in fucking full, like, second night in the casino. You've already taken several things to the pawn shop, and you're just swear you're about to make it big on the machine. Type chain spoken stress.
Oh, dude, they like, and they'll pull up to the Chevron at College and Glen in their Maserati and buy a carton of freaking Marlboros.
Oh no, it was almost never Marlboro. It was like some cheapo brand that I only really ever saw like a few of the like around places around the college. It was like
Yeah.
some weird East Asian brand.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm pretty sure this is the fight. I did not look at much of the prelims. I was at work at the time because again, since it's a
Can you
Europe fight, the fucking main card starts at 3 in the afternoon on a Saturday.
can you zoom in on it a little bit?
1 second. Here we go.
Okay.
Better.
Yeah, that's perfect. Hold on, Griff. You're gonna have to cut this part. Hold on.
1 second. I gotta go very briefly. Pause. How's Shug doing, by the way?
Oh, he is awesome. He is super, super, super awesome. He's just at the point, you know. I mean, he's such a big and high energy dog.
Yeah.
I'm having to start. Well, next month at least, I'm pretty much gonna be working from home because I mean he's so high energy and so damn big.
Yeah.
That he's starting to tear shit up. Like he's eating on the corner of my carpet, which is what I just had to address.
Yeah.
But nice. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. We are had to take a quick commercial break. Brought to you by Alan Perez's twerking not paying off. She got rear naked choked by Stephen Egger in the fight. I can best assume as ring girls who can fight. No offense to their actual prowess, but let's be honest. There's a reason why this was the lead off card and not Benet Saint Denis.
And then Cillian Quinones. I didn't watch that fight. I started watching at Benoit Saint Denis and Gabriel Miranda. And Gabriel Miranda, he is actually really well known on the South American fight circuit, and got absolute that Benoit Saint Denis dude.
He's good.
He's fucking good, dude. Like really.
He's just a guy who's kind of like he's been in and out of the Apex, I think, twice. Let me pull it up exactly because I don't want to get this wrong. And since this is Tapology, thank you to the kind people of Tapology. You are awesome. And you do
Shout
all
out
the heavy
Tapology.
lifting of the fucking info, especially on all the non-major promotions like LFA and all the fucking Russian ones. I cannot count.
Dude, the amount of Russian MMA promotions. I was actually going to talk about that tonight. We'll get to that later, but it is it is out of control.
There's like 6 of them.
Yeah, that's just MMA, and then you have kickboxing. Dude, there's way more kickboxing. There's probably
there's kickboxing. There's sambo specific. There is judo specific. I also believe they have like full armor knights that count and that are sanctioned. Where it's like knights each other in combat, which are all like MMA people who don't make it.
Right. What weight class is Saint Denis in? 155. Lightweight.
They have him listed. Last weigh in at 156. He's a lightweight, so 155.
Yeah.
I was just saying. So fight night. Just have patience with me. Wait, hold.
Also, everybody. We'll also get to this later, but I just want to go ahead and get it out of me. I couldn't hold it in any longer. Bo Nix flew 3,000 miles just to be Bo Nix still. Okay, there we go. I just had to get it out. There we go.
Well, that's perfectly reasonable. I mean, we all knew that was going to happen. I still think he gets drafted.
No, Griffin. Okay, no, we will get to this.
We'll get to it later. We'll get to why I think
he will still go into this, everybody. Everybody knows my issues with Bo Nix. We're not going to get we'll just anyway. Okay, back to the fights.
So Apex. Wait, he was on the Blaskovich Texara? 267, not the other one. I was like, damn, that's a quick turnaround from Singapore.
Oh
So he was
yeah,
in
yeah.
Abu Dhabi, like so Apex, Abu Dhabi. I have lost the fucking plot. Oh, there we go. But yeah, his first fight on promotion. I forgot that was his first. I thought he had another fight before that at
Yeah,
UFC. Oh, he
yeah.
didn't.
He'll bring something really, really exciting to the 155 division, because if you look at 155 right now, it's kind of a quagmire, and it's almost turning into something that's reminiscent of the welterweight division, where it's just two guys at the top, really. And the reason why I say that is because I don't see Justin Gaethje ever getting the belt. He's not smart enough, even though he is always going to be one of my favorites, obviously, and he has knockout power. Love the guy. I don't see it happening. I also don't see Michael Chandler getting it either. Now, he would be the most likely between him and Justin Gaethje to get it. It's really going to be a battle for a while between Oliveira and probably Islam Makhachev. I mean, Dustin Poirier has no interest in fighting for the belt again. I don't think. I mean, he's just. I used to love that guy, but man, he has really chapped my ass bad. I mean, he beats on rookies in sparring. He only wants money fights. He's still begging Connor to fight him. I don't want anything to do that with that guy. But this guy breathes
but
a nice breath of fresh air into the division, and I really like it.
oh yeah, he does. But just a quick rundown of lightweight, real quick, for those who aren't the most familiar with it. I mean, why the fuck is Justin Poirier second?
Why the hell is Jorge Masvidal still ranked at welterweight?
Well, you see, it's because Jorge Masvidal makes money.
Yeah, exactly, and so does
but like no, like the crazy thing is, I think Jorge might be, or he's like near the edge of the 1 million pay-per-view fighter. I think he's like one. He might be one of the six,
Oh,
or
every
he's like knocking at the door because the fight after Askren, because him and Usman both I think got really close or are in.
so wait, what pay per views has he headlined? He's headlined with Usman,
The Usman fight.
and
But
that's it.
I think that fight was almost a million pay-per-view. If
It,
not,
no, it was over. It was a million. It was for sure a million, for
okay,
sure.
so they're both on it.
Yeah, and Dustin has a million, but Dustin isn't the one that drew the million. We knew who drew the million.
Yeah.
So we don't even have to go there. The guy that beats up the little gimp. Who's gonna punt that boy Hasbro?
Yeah, but I mean, what we got, as you said, after Charles, it's pretty much him and Islam, and then guys who are just a level below. Get Justin Gaethje. Chandler is. I hate to say it like this, and I don't mean to pay him. He's a very good guy, but you
Yeah, right.
know, like Mike or like his boy over here, Colby Covington. Reach fucking matters.
It does matter, and the his absolutely jacked muscular build is actually to his detriment, because
Yep.
it's really, really, really hard for him to cut to 140. It's already hard for him to cut to 155. There's no way his height and his reach is more conducive to 145. I would love a fight between him and Volkanovski. I would fucking love that.
He would get
But
murdered.
he would probably get his face jabbed off. But the wrestling, there's really no one at 145 that's a wrestling threat, as much of a wrestling threat, at least, as Michael Chandler is at one.
No, I get. I mean, to a degree, but the problem is like he's already struggling at lightweight to cut.
Right,
The
right.
moment he gets
I know that's where
a 10 other pounds, I think that it'd be like what happened to Dan Hooker.
yes,
You go from like a guy who was already weight class a little too low, and then when he went down to he got down like 135 or something fucking ridiculous,
and
and he just looks zapped.
to be completely fair to Dan Hooker, completely fair to him, they did feed him at 145 to Arnold Allen, which
I was 145, my bad.
and which I have a really, really controversial opinion about Arnold Allen. Hold on, go to the top 10 145 list.
Yeah, Arnold Allen right here at 6.
Zoom in for me real quick. Okay. So out of that list, the only I think that Volkanovski absolutely annihilates Cater. We all know what the deal is with Brian Ortega. I don't know why he's still at number 3. The only striking threat that I see to Volkanovski at all, the only two are Yair Rodriguez, because whoever says he's not a striking threat is a liar, and Arnold Allen. I mean, that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
there are those two besides Volkanovski are the most elite strikers in the division right now. Josh Emmett, he has great power and everything, but I think he is the most overrated top 10er on the list. I mean, who has he beaten to deserve to be number 4?
I don't know, but I mean, he has a fucking Crash Bandicoot tattoo, bro. So just chill.
He has the weirdest abs in the UFC.
He looks a lot. You know what I got confused with for the longest time? Who was the guy who had like the whole like pointy ears and vampire kind of looking thing?
Yeah.
I was confused the two.
He looks like Joe Rogan from Wish.
No. He looks like if you try to draw Michael Strahan from memory. Not Strahan, sorry. Jason Stidham.
Oh, Statham. Jason Statham.
Statham from memory.
Dude. Yeah.
He looks like the fucking claymation creatures from Chicken Run.
Oh my god. Dude, I was literally just thinking about that movie the other day. That's right. That's funny you said that. But back to that card, Cyril Gane and Tai Tuivasa, great fight, great technical show out. But what I really want to cover, I mean, that was a great card and everything. And it was amazing for how many finishes there were. It was great for France. I'm really looking forward to tapping into more talent there, the UFC tapping into more talent there, because France has actually a really rich history of great Muay Thai fighters, and a lot of really good kickboxers come out of France. Oh, yeah. So I'm really, really excited to see the potential there. But what we have yet to talk about is Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman.
Yeah. Just very briefly, let's go back to Tapology. Let's go back a few fights because we'll pull up the whole card. And we'll talk about 279 next, but back to 278. This is gonna take a while. So I don't feel like typing it. Oh, by the way, because this also happened after. Did you watch any of the one stuff that happened immediately after it?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. Yeah.
Short summary. Christian Lee is just as well like his sister. Well, his older sister. He's also fucking dominant. Probably hold that division for a long time. And then they even have a younger sibling who's like barely 18, and she's going to be a title holder herself. So that might be like the most dominant family. And Demetrius Johnson's still pound for pound best fighter in the world.
Yes. Okay. Everybody. Guys, I have grown up in the fight game. Both my grandfathers boxed in the Navy. I trained jiu-jitsu. I have for a while now. I've watched boxing and all combat sports religiously since I was a little boy. Demetrius Johnson is undoubtedly, before I say this, I don't want people to freak out, because yes, I know he's a 125er. You can argue that guys aren't as good as at 125, but I don't know how people can argue that. Yeah, they're lighter. Who cares? It's still people fighting against other people in their own weight class, and they're still way more technically skilled than most people in heavier weight classes. Demetrius Johnson is probably pound for pound top 3 greatest MMA fighters of all time.
Yeah, I would
And
agree
it's
with that.
completely inarguable.
Let's also be 100% fair as well. And I will go this far. He was what? He lost to Henry Cueto. And if he would have won that Cueto fight, wouldn't he like tied Anderson Silva for most title defenses?
If he would have beaten Henry, let's see, Anderson
It
has
was
a
very close.
yeah, I think it would have been a tie, and because Usman was going to break. No. Oh, Usman was going to break Anderson's longest fight win streak, not title defenses, though.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah. No, Demetrius would have tied him. Yes.
Yeah.
And Dana White trading him for Ben Askren, maybe. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I can think of any more disrespectful trades across sport. I really don't. That might be the most embarrassing, disrespectful trade in all of sports.
On one hand, I don't think it was that disrespectful. Let me put it my opinion. 125 in Asia makes more sense because you're more likely to get guys who are naturally going to be closer to that weight there who make it and not want to fight aboves to keep skipping Demetrius Johnson. Because the one complaint DJ had was that UFC really didn't like, for as good as he wasn't a big draw just because, I mean, like one of the gimmicks of one of the Ultimate Fighters was, hey, this is the first time ever we're going to do flyweights. By the way, if you win this, you get to fight. You get to fight DJ. Welcome to the fucking promotion.
Right.
Your second fight in, you're fighting for a belt because they ran out of people. So, in one way, yes, but I mean, let's be fair. They at the same time before he got traded, one was probably the most competitive flyweight in the world. I wouldn't be surprised if DJ basically said, "Look, like I get it. I'll probably take a slightly less pay cut, a little pay cut just going to one, but I'll probably make it up in other ways over there. But I think this is what ultimately I want to do, and
Well,
it may not be as
the reason to me it's disrespectful is because, yeah, Askren was a champion over at one, but the welterweight division in one, let's be honest, but at the time,
sucks.
it was completely pathetic. And Demetrius was,
it's not good now.
yeah. I mean, Demetrius is the most dominant flyweight in MMA history. So it didn't make sense to me, besides the fact that, everyone was wondering about Ben Askren because he is probably a top 5 most dominant U.S. wrestler of all time. It's just, it didn't make sense to me to just trade him for somebody that came from a very watered down division over in Asia. It made all the sense in the world for one to do that trade, because they're bringing in Demetrius Johnson, who, like I said, is the most dominant flyweight of all time, to fight against other very talented flyweights. The thing to think about is that Asia is going to have way more of a pool to choose from as far as dominant lightweight guys come from.
Well, that's what I was saying. I mean, that's what I'm saying. To there, it's not as much of a barrier to find. Like I think I get a lot of things in, especially because one and UFC seem to have it is a bit of a sibling rivalry in my opinion. But let's be honest with Shatri. Shatri is, for the most part, kept fairly open relationships with the UFC and UFC. Sure, the Singapore move was a big dick move. We all know it. The whole card. But outside that, they've been fairly congenial between both of each other or both promotions. So, in my opinion, I think DJ probably wanted something Dana viewed it as I get 3 fighters. If one of them ends up becoming memorable, then so be it. In a way, we wouldn't have gotten the improbable rise of Jorge Masvidal if it wasn't for Ben Askren. So even if Ben Askren didn't initially, himself did it, he launched somebody else. So in Dana's view, I think it's a push. It was a push for everybody.
Chatri is way, way easier to do business with too than Scott Coker. That is why Scott Coker, by the way, everybody, is president of Bellator. But and that's why, in my opinion, one is, besides the UFC, the greatest MMA promotion on the planet.
Yeah, I would say they're comfortably the second best. Like they're one of those, like there's UFC and then there's one, and it's a big gap between them and everybody else. I mean, even and that's not just way to other people, for instance, but like let's be honest, another well-run one that used to be Independence Cage Warriors. They're essentially a subsidy of UFC now and a feeder promotion from England.
Yeah,
and LFA does solid stuff, but like if they do have fights, they're usually okay. And the top, like the main cards are fine, but they don't really have any depth. And that's a problem a lot
right.
of these promotions have, because the moment they have anybody develop, they immediately get catapulted to the main event. They'll do 3 main events, and next thing you know, they're fighting in the Contender Series.
Let's see. Okay, the rest of that card. So wait, Sean Woodson was a draw. I cannot pronounce that Chinese dude's name, but he's getting better, and he's getting, yeah, he fought at 135 that fight. I think he originally fought at flyweight for the longest time, but he looked really good at 135.
Real quick, you want to look at knockoff Max Holloway?
Because of the tag.
Figueiredo got figured out.
Yes, he did.
I had to say that. Angie Lusa, look at that proud Swissman.
Is he the only Swissman in the UFC besides Volkan Ozdemir? I think he is.
Well, there's that woman from the French card that I'm blanking on, the blonde one who beat Twerk Argentinian.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
But man, probably. He beat AJ Fletcher. Couldn't have happened to a better fighter. Draw.
Marcin Tybura wins by decision against Alexander Romanov.
Oh yeah, I know. Okay. To be fair to Romanov, to anybody who watched 278, because it's the 278 card, if anybody has lost track, they were fighting in Salt Lake City, which is what, 6,000 feet above sea level?
I think it's
isn't it technically taller than Denver, or at least at the same exact height?
It's technically a little bit taller than Denver. Technically, yes.
Okay, so you're telling me in the heavy, like again, a heavyweight wrestler who primarily wrestles for 15 straight minutes is going to make it the whole time against another heavyweight,
right?
And especially because both of these guys are the type of guys who probably fight at 285. So he probably cut 20-ish pounds.
Oh,
and then put it all back on. So you lose all the benefits of hydrating early and staying through the week to then fight within 24 hours.
And I'll tell you one thing. I remember at first, who was it? I think, no, it was Usman. Usman was he was like, I think the combination of he was like, he said somewhere, I don't think it was on Ariel Helwani show, but he said somewhere that if the fight was at lower elevation, he would have ate that head kick.
No, he wouldn't. That was clean. That shit was clean. I don't care. Clean. I don't care if you were in New Orleans. I don't care if you were like in a fucking Atlantis below the sea level. Like that was clean. That was open. That was you getting caught because you hadn't changed your fucking head movement for 3 straight fucking fights, and you got caught.
People keep saying people keep saying he's handled this loss like a true champion.
No, he's handled it the same way that when Silva or Anderson Silva
Lost
got
to Chris
his,
Weidman.
like he kind of like slowly, it like the cracks started to show,
Right. He Here's the thing, and everybody's like, "Oh, he got caught." Blah blah blah. He got caught. He got caught. He got caught. That kick was set up. There was a setup to that kick. He didn't just throw it.
Oh yeah, he was working that several times throughout the round. I think if he felt a bit more confident about it, he might have released it in round 2 before he got taken down.
Yeah, and God, the thing is that Leon, if he needs to bring in somebody like Jordan Burroughs or somebody like that to help with his takedown defense. He has got, because the next fight, we all know what's coming. It's going to be a 25-minute wrestling match from Kamaru Usman.
If they give it to Usman.
Because Usman scored. Are you talking about the next fight?
There's a rumor that they might say fuck rankings and put the Jorge Masvidal because it would be a beef fight.
Yeah, and they would probably sell more pay-per-views that way. But
I'm just thinking, like, hey, if you're gonna do a fight in Europe, them fucking electricity bills ain't no fucking joke over there right now. So the turn the lights on a fucking O2.
Now,
Right?
now
I
that
think they said Wembley.
Now that you say that, yeah, it makes sense. I remember that now. And Dana said at the press conference of that fight, he was like, "I'll let Leon choose whoever he wants." He fought this many fights to get to this point. He won in spectacular fashion. He can fight whoever he wants. I don't care. He was like, if he picks someone besides Kamaru, and if that other person isn't Colby Covington that Leon's gonna fight, we'll make Kamaru and Colby fight again. And
So,
I'm just like, good God, again with those.
Hear me out. And this is again evil matchmaker promotion. And then give Colby Covington Kamaru Usman like the week before in a paid card.
Oh God,
For
dude,
the 4th time.
the matchmakers have been on complete demon time as of late.
Goblin mode.
They have gone absolute goblin mode. Dude, they are crucifying Nate Diaz this weekend. Nate Diaz literally said in the press conference today, he said, "I gave up preparing. Fuck it. Just try and beat me."
No, he's done this for the last 5 straight fights. Nah, plus like when Haus-Matic rolled up, he was already training with Fields. It looks like they were working on something specific in the cage.
Yeah.
Nah. Nate Diaz does this tough guy gangster shit because again, it only gets him paid, only bruised up cards. He's just trying to get a check. Dana's trying to get a check. Haus-Matic's looking for a tune up and some respect. It's a work. Life's a work.
Which this fight will be a good fight for Hamzat to stay in shape and all that good stuff. And for him, it's like, oh, well, if you notice, that wasn't one of the names that Leon Edwards threw out for a possible title defense, which he mentioned possibly Kamaru. He even mentioned Nate Diaz. He was like, if Nate Diaz wins, he gets the automatic title shot.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, though, so while we're still back on 278, pre Usman Leon, did you see Tyson Pedro
though? I didn't get to watch that fight because I was working that day.
Bro, this guy
is he good?
He trains I think he trains out of the same camp that Tuivasa trains out of.
Oh, really?
He's I think he's the same Mark Hunt camp. He's fucking like he's a big fucking Polynesian guy at light heavyweight, good reach and good power and good setup. I don't know too much about his grappling because again he fought, let's be honest, Harry Hunsucker This guy looks like the average BKFC at light heavyweight.
Oh, there's no way that guy's getting re-signed again. What is his record? Does that say 7-6?
Yeah, 7'6". He's nicknamed the Hurricane. 75-inch reach, not the greatest for 6'2" height. He
Considering
fought Ty Tavasa. Wait, he fought.
Conor
So
McGregor
he,
has a 6'2". I mean, 72. Sorry.
yes, 75-inch. So
I'm
72
saying
would be 6. Actually, no, that's about an inch over. But keep in mind, so here's a fight where he fought Ty. Hold up, that Ty. So he used to be a heavyweight. So he dropped down a weight.
yeah.
So, and then Justin Top up. Man, they fought. They gave him all the I gave him 3 straight Australians in a row. Does this man just hate Polynesians?
He's committing hate crimes on Pacific Islanders.
More like they're committing hate crimes on him. That was 3 straight L's. Hold on, but so what's up? Last weigh in. So he fought 2 straight heavyweight. They said you gotta go to light heavyweight, and he gets fucking murked. So where does he fight out of? Which camp? So he's fighting out of Kentucky. Okay, well that makes sense. No offense to the fine state of Kentucky, they have good people.
Yeah, they have great people, but what MMA gyms that are reputable are in Kentucky.
Also, hold up. This motherfucker has 2 belts in his picture. From where?
It must be like
I have to go back and look up this man.
It must be like LFA or
Gladiator Promotions,
EFL
Warrior,
or something like that.
Hard Rock, Valor. One Nakamura. So you have a few like submissions.
Yeah.
So okay, so this is where it really kind of started falling off the rails. Is this stretch right here? So let's look at his, like, he was on a hot streak in 2020. So
Jordan Mitchell.
Last weigh in undisclosed. So
anyway, screw Harry Hunsucker.
Yeah. I was like curious, but I couldn't find it. I'm not as wise to Tapology as it probably should be, but moving on. Lucy something Polish. No, Czech. My bad. Czech. The other Slavics.
Pudilova. Lucia or Lucy Pudilova.
And she beat Yana Wu. I mean, again.
Merab Dvalishvili versus Jose Aldo. Okay, that fight.
Jose Aldo, well, look, you have a man who was born in the fucking mountains fighting a guy from Rio. No shit, the guy from the mountains out gas tank the guy who's not from the mountains while fighting in the mountains.
And it's not even that, man. It's just that, I get it. Obviously, you're always going to go to your strengths and you're going to try and exploit people's weaknesses. But he didn't even exploit any weakness really on Jose. He kept trying to take him down. The only control time that he had was really up against the cage, and like one of the 2 takedowns that he landed out of like 11 or 13 attempts or whatever. So
I mean, to be fair, they were split going around 3, and Jose Aldo just got gassed, and then it became because Merab was constantly pressuring. By default, he gets points.
Right. Yeah,
okay, now I remember Pedalova. She was the one who had like a really couple sick fucking. I think she had a couple throws and reversals in it. And she actually did some fucking nifty ass groundwork. Now, okay, it's been a while since I watched this one. A lot's fucking happened since this fight. These fights.
Yeah. Okay. Paulo Costa versus Luke Rockhold.
Rockhold tough as shit. Paulo Costa tough as shit. The Paulo Costa just got gassed.
Yeah. And like kudos to Luke Rockhold. I mean, like, I don't like the son of a bitch, but kudos to him. At least he went out with a bang. But Paulo Costa really, really, really redeemed himself in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
He completely redeemed himself. He's always been a fan favorite because of his personality, but
and his Twitter.
and his Twitter, he's hilarious.
And his homophobic remarks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But
I have some tweets to share with the class here in a little bit.
But Paulo Costa, what to do with him at 185 now? Because Adesanya versus Pereira is coming up. I'd say make him fight. Oh my God, I'm having a brain fart. Who just fought Vettori? Robert Whittaker.
Robbie Reaper Whittaker.
I mean, I'd say make him and Whittaker fight, and then those two fight the winner of Adesanya versus Pereira.
Yeah,
but it's like, I mean, that Robert Whittaker would use the same exact strategy that he used against Yoel Romero, to prepare for him. And so it's like, who would want to watch that fight all over again? Well, actually, I would. Those were some great fights.
I mean, look, right now, Israel's and the Pereira fight. Outside that, there's not really a lot of marketable, just for shits and giggles. Like, who else here is marketable except Paulo Costa and Strickland? Strickland just lost. Darren Till. Darren Till is made of fucking glass.
Yeah, none of them are marketable. I think you should make Darren Till, and I think they should make Darren Till and Sean Strickland fight. That'd be fun.
Yeah, actually, that's a good thought. I mean, but if Pereira wins, then maybe Paulo Costa versus Israel.
Yeah, I mean, 185 has been so heavily dependent on Adesanya's personality, but ever since Adesanya made the Frozen comment, it's been pretty much downhill from there.
I mean,
and
you
on
don't
top
think?
of that,
Hold on, let me see if I can pull up it on the Twitter. He made a very suspect tweet.
Adesanya did?
Yeah, like today or tonight.
Oh, really?
I bookmarked a fuck ton of prep. And the only reason I don't run more of it is because whoever programs Twitter, for their like actual web browser, it takes up entirely fucking too much RAM. So if I have like 5 tabs, my computer's on fire and it will burn through this table. So this is Israel Adesanya, Stylebender. He compared himself as to the transsexual demon thing from Powerpuff Girls.
It's shit that he does like that, and getting French tips on his nails and wearing pearls. Look, I get it, dude. There's, first of all, let's just have a disclaimer. Nothing wrong with gay people. I don't care what people do with their lives. I don't care. But Israel, you're looking a little sus, my boy.
I mean, that's just a long about way of saying, like, look, I hear what you said, but we don't care.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
What are you trying to do? But anyways,
it's called being on the demo.
There was I think Pereira. I'm trying to remember who this interview was with. I think it was with Ariel Helwani, and he said on there, Israel has had to worry about a bunch of other fighters over the past few years. I've only been studying one, and it's been him.
Yeah.
So I've already beaten him twice. He said I've already beaten him twice.
Once by decision too.
Once by decision and once by knockout
too. And he knocked him out the second.
Yeah.
In glory too. That was when they had significantly more money to hire for camps.
Yeah. And he was like, look, all I've been doing is studying his MMA game for 3 years. He's like, that's all I've been doing.
So
Imagine how terrifying that is. I mean, there's nothing new that he can do in this short of amount of time to catch him off guard. I don't think, anyways. I mean, he does the same thing every fight. He just jabs in circles. He has the ability to have exciting fights. His fight against Kelvin Gastelum is one of the greatest fights in UFC history.
it is. Now
Why
I hear
he
what you.
won't,
Oh, go ahead.
why he won't stand in the pocket and bang with people anymore? Pause. Why he won't stand in the pocket and fight with people anymore? I don't get it. I do not get it.
He doesn't want to be Kamaru Usman, but I hear what you're saying. But we're gonna edge real quick and talk about the beginning of the 279 fight.
Okay.
So real quick, let's build our way back up until we talk about the betrayal fight. Or, well, you call it betrayal. I can just call it uh money. Darren Weeks versus Johan Lorenzi. I don't recall any Johan fights. I think I've seen Weeks before.
This card is very, very, very weak, people. So
Well, the
just be
prelims so
prepared.
far are not very good. Chad, he's okay. Healy, I don't a lot of tank. Is he one of the Elijah Faber people?
I'm at Team Alpha Male. I wouldn't be surprised. Wait a minute, hold on. The fight above it, Norma Dumont versus who's number 3. Okay, wait.
I
Who
was
is
just checking. Wait, hold on.
number 3 is fighting the number versus the number 431st.
145. 145 women?
Yeah.
What's the name?
Are they? I didn't know that they were trying to breathe more life into that. I thought they were just going to let Amanda Nunes be the champion for forever.
I guess I said we want more striking at a heavyweight women so we can get more knockouts.
Yeah.
Which,
I don't know.
hey, fucking kudos.
But how the hell someone with a 1-0 record has made it into the UFC featherweight division? I have no idea. She must have some sort of.
Shit. I mean, this is just a pump up fight for Norma Dumont. They just found somebody who was willing to do, who had an MMA promotion at 145, which is probably not many fucking fighters. And they said, hey, here's a tune up.
Yeah. Now, look, that Jake Collier, Chris Barnett fight is going to be
every time Chris Barnett's
fun.
Collier is fun, but look, anytime Chris Barnett fight, like I know I think I used this on the first or second episode. Chris Barnett is like, like in old video games, you could like make a ridiculous build because it was all stat driven and you could just like copy entire skill sets. He's like if you made a joke build at heavyweight where you turn the height slider all the way down and the weight all the way up, and then just copy and pasted George St. Pierre's moveset.
Yeah. He's a meme. Oh, I absolutely love that guy. I love him. He's a great guy. He's hilarious. He's a skilled fighter. He got beat his last fight, but he's going to always be one of those fan favorites that everyone likes. It doesn't matter if he has 7 losses in a row.
I mean, he's fun. Which is what you honestly want in the prelim. I mean, because like, look, most prelim fights, sure, they're trying to make a name for themselves. Well, let's be honest. Like, you're in the prelims for a reason, and you're not in ranks yet. So you're not mainlining fight nights. You're on a paid card. So, a little bit of bread and circuses, a little bit of showmanship, and you stick around. And look, in my honest opinion with Barnett, if he loses this, he's probably going to be on the outside looking in terms of getting extended. But what I will say is, imagine this man in 1.
He's never fought in 1?
I'll check real quick. I don't think he has. I think he was in some like really small. Yeah, he was in UAE Warriors. and Extreme and Island Fights.
Island Fights is pretty popular.
Like he's been in a bunch of like kind of smaller kind like oh Japanese. Like he's the type of guy MMA's one didn't get before UFC
Right.
because they don't have the best heavyweight MMA in terms of depth. But
Right.
they have a lot of like Middle East and Central Asian guys and a few people from South Asia.
Dude, people at one would eat him up. They would love him.
Well, because
He would be like the next who was that? He would be like the next Bob Sapp personality.
I mean, yeah, I mean, or at least like what Mark Hunt was in there, like the dying days of Pride before he came over.
Yeah.
But moving on, then Dennis, the White Russian versus Jamie Pickett. I don't really know enough about either to give you any real opinion of it. Otherwise, than it's middleweight and a prelim, so it's probably not going to be the best.
Giles Almeida is a good is that fight's going to be a banger. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a banger.
The undefeated Swedish guy with a Turkic last name and a big Brazilian. Probably going to lean towards the big Brazilian.
Yeah.
Hakeem Dawodu, I've seen him before. He's fun. Versus Julian Erosa and the feeding the old or feeding the young from the old fight. And then
hold on, pause. Johnny Walker is. Oh, okay. His jaw was made by Swarovski Crystal Company.
What? Like this is? He says he's not doing CBD. CBD ruined his life. THC ruined his life. I love this one. Hold up, because we're on Johnny Walker and it's fight week, so I got my fucking prep ready. Let me see if I can find Johnny Walker Reborn. Thank you from MMA Junkie again. Probably one of the most underrated people on Twitter and the MMA scene.
Oh, MMA Junkie is fire. Them and Tapology are the only sources that I really use besides John Morgan, of course.
Yeah. So
hey, pause it real quick. I need to use the bathroom.
1 second. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
While you do that, I'm going to see if I can find a video of him saying it. I cannot. Oh, by the way, did I tell you my bets?
Oh, 1 second, Griff.
All right. Straighten this one out.
Chill. Calm down.
Hold up.
Hey, Griffin.
Yo.
before you hit play again, I was just letting you know my girlfriend. So my girlfriend, she's a traveling nurse,
Yeah.
and I bought tickets to the Auburn Ole Miss game.
Which week's that?
Huh?
Which week's that?
I think it's like October, like maybe the first weekend in October, maybe.
Okay.
Hold on, Shug. Let me see. Got it.
Is it the 1st or the 8th?
It is. Oh, excuse me. It's the 3rd week of October. The
Okay.
first Mississippi school. Okay, yeah. So it would be October. It would be October 22nd. It's at Ole Miss. But I was just thinking that if you flew into Huntsville and if you were able to make that game, I would drive us over there, and it would be a fun time.
Okay. I'll see how my schedule shapes up after that. I am actually in the middle of trying to get some longer term work shit set up around this week. And I'm actually calling somebody to ask about some advice before I fully like start doing something. So I don't know 100% what my schedule is looking like at the big, by mid-October. But I'll give you a definite answer in 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No.
'Cause
No,
the only thing I have scheduled in
problem.
October is on the 4th. My bad, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No problem. No problem.
Anyway,
Unfortunately, I have to stay. Unfortunately, I have to record from right here now because it's the only place that my charger will work. So,
that's fine.
but anyways,
It is fine.
I'm right
Yeah.
in the door.
All right. We are back after a commercial break brought to you
Sorry about that,
by French Volkanovski, who celebrated the fight.
everybody.
He looks like the bad guy in a fucking Taken movie.
He looks like he would speak French, like how Brad Pitt spoke Italian in
He
Inglorious
looks
Bastards.
he looks like he's getting tortured by
Bonjour.
Liam Neeson. He looks like he's a fucking Monty Python skit. Anyway, by the way, Hectic one of the best memers on Twitter or meme creators or whatever gay term you want to use. No, he's all good. And because this is a Chris Barnett fight week, I'm gonna mute this so we do not get copyright struck if I put this up on YouTube and Rumble. There's Chris Barnett breaking a move. Not very good because I think he ended up losing this fight, but
okay, so let's see.
Oh, also because we were on discussion of 279 last time, but to get that straight, Johnny Walker recently in the weigh-in as of today basically said my fight wasn't the way I liked to get knocked out. Walker said, but we fight against the best in the world. It can happen to anyone. The top 15 we have all the power and skill to knock even the champ out. So even I've been working really on my boxing and my defense, all the skills, and of course all the techniques for the Kutalaba fight. So I'm ready for him. Hold up, let me see where his weak comment was.
Johnny, you can work on all of that as much as you like, buddy. It doesn't negate the fact that your chin is made out of a toothpick TP. Okay, it's horrific.
What? I mean, it's not like the worst thing where something like bad happens where you like have weird knockouts in spectacular fashion.
Yeah.
Anyway, but he said nothing good, nothing against the CBD. It's just myself. My brain don't react good.
So what is the story behind that? Did he take CBD one day and just like he had an organ?
Every CBD have a little bit of THC. The THC fucked me up. I get paranoid. I don't trust anybody. I get late for training. I don't follow schedule. It fucked my life. I didn't know that. I was drugging myself for the last 3 years and I didn't notice, and now I stopped. Uh, Probably just
Wait. He's blaming his losses on CBD?
on THC in general, and just not being as good, not as active in all the prep as he should.
Whatever, dude. You're about to get your ass kicked again. So
Meanwhile, Nate Diaz, spokesman of the USADA.
he just lights up a joint in front of you. Know why I did that though, right? Because USADA banned his brother a few years ago for 5 years. Gave him a 5-year suspension
Oh
at his
shit, I
prime.
forgot about that.
Yeah, that's why he did it.
I got it. That's why everybody fucking loves the Diaz brothers.
They're amazing.
Irene Aldana versus Macy Curzon, who looks like Justin Bieber for some reason.
I'll take Aldana in that fight easy.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And then Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez is a certified banger.
It's a classic, and it's going to be Kevin Holland.
Yeah, it'll be Kevin Holland. It should. Daniel probably has a little bit more power, but it definitely should. How is Kevin Holland with all of the upsets that he had? He beat Jacare. How is Daniel Rodriguez ranked higher than him? I don't get that.
I mean, do you want me to like go over his recent history before he went back to like 185 because he was a horrible welterweight?
Yeah, go over his win-loss real quick. Let's see this.
You're gonna see a trend here in a minute. So here's his wins. It's called Diego Santos.
Yeah.
So, and then I think Brandon Allen,
Joshua who? Who the hell is that?
John Phillips,
No. Oh, excuse me, Anthony. Anthony, what?
Conti, and Cassie Pro. It's a grappling event.
Yeah. Oh.
So, elite grappling. They consider that MMA? Oh, it's MMA? That's weird. So he actually originally almost fought Daniel 2 years ago, but it got canceled.
Oh.
Well, I finally met. So he goes on a winning streak. Okay, so it was like these three. So he he got upset by Brunson when Brunson went on that kind of run. And then Marvin Vittori. Then he almost went up to heavyweight to fight Kyle Dacus.
What the what the hell?
No, that's I'm thinking of Chris Dacus. That's his fucking brother.
Yeah. And then
he lost to Cody Hammer in a grappling event, and then he beat the not as successful Oliveira, and then Tim Means. Oh, that's right. He won by Darcy, and then he's gonna fight Daniel Rodriguez. I think he just got caught in like an unlucky just 2-fight skid.
Yeah, I don't think he does. I don't think he deserves to be ranked lower than Rodriguez. He has way too big of wins, and Rodriguez doesn't have really. He doesn't have any huge names like he does. Let's see. His biggest win is Kevin Lee and Mike Perry. Congratulations.
Hey, Mike Perry is the undisputed champ of middleweight in UFC. He beat Michael Venom Page, I'll have you know.
He did beat Michael Venom Page, which was a shock to everybody, I think.
Yeah. Oh, he's just been doing it longer, to be honest.
Yeah.
He just has a lot of fucking wins in a row.
Yeah.
And he's a contender guy.
He's very, very good, honestly. He is very good. Who's that lost to? Let's see.
Nicholas Dalby.
I don't think he has any losses in the UFC though so far. Wait.
That was UFC. That was UFC.
Okay. Yeah.
He almost fought Takashi Sato. That got delayed. Brian Barberina got delayed. He just honestly fought a bunch of cans who were available.
Right.
And his one loss was he was supposed to fight Barberina, and then it looked like a week later he tried the fight. Darby. Almost fought Nurmagomedov. Tony Ferguson versus the Leech. I'm pretty sure this is the Leech's first fight since getting absolutely fucking killed by Ozma.
No. Wait, go to his record. I think he's coming off of a knockout win, is he not? Or am I? I might be thinking of someone else. But
No,
let me see.
you're. I'm sorry, my bad. I forgot about UFC ABC.
Yeah, the ABC card. He came off of a knockout win.
Oh, because it was 2 months ago. So I mean, he rebounded pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, look.
I mean, this is their way of trying to push him over.
I mean, yeah, he's coming off of a quick turnaround technically, but as much as this pains me to even say, he is only fighting Tony Ferguson. Now, Tony Ferguson, I did not realize this. He said this in the press conference today. He's 14-2 at welterweight, not in UFC, obviously, but in other promotions that he fought in before the Ultimate Fighter.
Okay, yeah, that's true. And
so,
by the way, you want to see the elite China top team?
The China top team? Sure.
Leech is apparently the guy at including Lyle Iron Horse Du, whose most recent loss is against Zaywu, a bunch of Chinese guys. Azov Karadarov, who was not good enough to fight in the Dagestani gyms. The Leech is by far the most popular. A guy I cannot pronounce, and I'm not going to even pretend to. Zhaijian Qi, 12-12, respectable for a slight professional. Abdullah Dagger Aliyev, 11-1, but his most recent fight he's a loss. So I don't know who he's fighting. Kong Liu, the Wolf of the Grasslands. Kazaki Hulk. Or Kazakh Hulk.
That's the Chinese top team, you said?
Yes, these are all people. Oh, he looks like a Uyghur or Kazakh Uyghur. The Little Squirrel. Lion King. The Conqueror. Storm Rage. And that's all the cool nicknames.
Storm Rage has nothing on Storm Rider. Shout out.
Shout out Storm Rider.
Shout out Trees.
I think my favorite one was what do you buy? What was it? Jorge Masvidal from Wish. That comment still kills me to this day. Check out Storm Rider Street Beefs. You'll know when you find it. So yeah, the Leech's coming off a good solid win on that free card. I mean, let's be honest. What do we really expect from Tony Ferguson at this point?
Well,
he could win.
Look, I'm gonna revert back to my natural state of an Auburn Sunshine pumper, but in the context of MMA, real quick, Which, by the way, FYI, everybody, I'm not an Auburn Sunshine Pumper. I'm just being sarcastic, but I will be a Sunshine Pumper here. So in the last fight that Tony Ferguson had against Michael Chandler, he was winning the fight, everybody, until he got caught. Dude was winning the fight, period. With that being said, I don't see him going in there and doing a stand and bang with Li Ji Liang. What we all know, this isn't a look. I'm not like making. Well, actually, I am making a generalization because it's true. For whatever reason, most Chinese fighters in the UFC are horrific on the ground. Terrible.
I mean, now it's an observation. Like, most Brazilian fighters are fucking big and scary.
Yeah,
for their weight class.
Yeah, it's like
it's Jose Aldo.
Yeah, I mean, it's undeniable that they're terrible on the ground for whatever reason. So, and Tony Ferguson is a 10th planet black belt. He's taken so much damage in his past 4 or 5 fights. I see Eddie Bravo going. Well, actually, I don't know because he just went to Jackson Wink. I don't know if Eddie Bravo is going to be on the corner, but I see them advising him to use his jiu-jitsu. But whether Tony will listen to that or not,
you know how old Tony Ferguson is on Tapology? Let me zoom in on this for you real quick. Wait. Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. Look at his fucking Tapology profile picture. You want to see a dinosaur? Look over his right shoulder or his left shoulder.
Oh my god!
Spike TV. Hell to the fucking
why
baby.
has Tapology kept that? Was during Tony Ferguson's Ultimate Fighter days.
Yeah, it was. That's how long he's been in the promotion. Anyway, and then the main event, the one that everybody will pay for this card for, besides probably the Walker and Holland combo. It's Nate Diaz valiantly trying to upset Haus-Matic, and Haus-Matic going to probably win in very brutal fashion over 5 rounds.
Guys,
or
this is
my Twitter instructs me. This will probably be the fight.
The only way.
So Haus-Matic through the first 4.
So we all know the route to victory for Hamzat. He is just going to absolutely outmuscle Nate because Nate has no muscle or strength, and he's just going to wrestle the absolute dog shit out of him.
Yeah, but
with that being said,
have you seen his game plan for round 5?
Do what?
Have you seen the game plan for round 5 for Nate
I have
Diaz?
not.
Here
it
is.
I have not seen the game plan for round 5.
So this is going to be the fight right here. Breaking footage. It's rigged. I rig it all. This is Nate Diaz in round 5. He's going to take all this damage, and all of a sudden, round 5. So I had to get that in. I had to use all the prep.
Dude, okay, so I can pretty much give you the only route to victory for Nate. It's the only one. He's not gonna. Yeah, he caught Leon with a pretty good 1-2 at the end of their fight. That's not gonna happen against Hamzat Chimaev. It's just not gonna happen. The only route to victory for Nate is one route. He's gonna have to take a few shots and play possum and like kind of look dead to Hamzat. Let Hamzat go in for the kill. Let him into his guard, and he's going to have to catch Hamzat with a triangle. It's the only route to victory. He's so good off of his back. He has elite jiu-jitsu. It's the only route to victory.
Yep. Anyway, last little comments about this card, because personally, I agree with you in your statement with that. Outside catching him sleeping or getting him in some like weird bottom submission, yeah, it's pretty much going to be Haus-Matic wins decisively. However, there was a moment where Kevin Holland, during the pre-fight process, was asked his opinion on Sean Strickland's finger injury. And here is the comment.
How do you hurt that? I think it's infected, but I tell them don't finger men's buttholes.
Okay, Kevin Holland. Wise advice from Kevin Holland.
It's also a good way of not getting monkeypox, so I've been told.
Guys, monkeypox started from monkeys just like AIDS did. Come on, everybody knows that.
I wasn't gonna say that, but I mean you brought it out there. I mean, I don't know what my friend Imani Ethan is doing over here, but I disavow.
Sorry, everybody.
But hey, it doesn't ruin your life as much as THC. Worked by boy Johnny Walker. That sounds like a fucking actual Johnny Walker would do. But hey, UFC is not the only thing this weekend. We got bare knuckle fighting this weekend. And it's going to be the new strawweight title fight. And they got
Britton Hart. That's my cousin. Just kidding, guys. My last name's Hart.
Hey, all I can say is Britton Hart. I mean, I guess letting ring girls fight is something that Rough and Rowdy doesn't get enough credit for pioneering.
Yeah.
But Britton Hart, hit me up.
If she's from West Virginia, there's a chance we're related.
Let's go down. But yeah, it's gonna be in Montana. Actually, let me see if I can pull up the whole card here because it's on Twitter and they do a phenomenal job with their Twitter. Instagram, for some reason, I don't know why I didn't follow them on my show accounts, but nonetheless, here we are. Joe, we got Joe Riggs in this. Fuck yeah! So,
hey, he fought in the UFC.
Yep. Well, yeah. I mean, like Bellator, it's like, oh yeah, I remember you.
Yeah.
I remember fighting you in UFC 4, or actually UFC 3. Let's see. Dakota High Pain, Coda Greenwood, Manuel Maria, Eric Lopez, Brian Maxwell, Leo Bercier, Jordan Christensen, Cody Berlier or whatever, Louis Lopez versus Dylan Schulte, Jenny Savage versus Veronica Dmitrieva, Rome Lindsay versus Billy Wagner, Gordon Slavetsky versus Dallas Davidson. I remember Dallas Davidson. Wasn't he kind of a bust?
Yes, he was. Absolutely.
Kai Stewart versus Rusty Crowder. That sounds like a sex move. Josh Dyer versus Joe Riggs, and then Britton Hart versus Carissa Segala. That should be a good fight.
I think that Mike Perry has a very long and promising career in bare knuckle.
Oh yeah, I mean he's 31. He's by far the youngest of the championship guys besides that one psycho woman they have at Bantam. I think it's Bantam.
Are you talking about the girl that pulled her tits out?
No, there's a girl crazier than her, has like a full fucking net tack. She's like full bull dyke.
I disavow my partner's statements, everybody.
Full bull dyke. Very good at pulling bi-curious women into their harem. Usually they wear a size too large baggy Hanes t-shirt and a wife beater underneath.
Why is the universal uniform for bull dykes white undershirts, blue jeans, and Air Force Ones?
Or it's like a 70% chance they're
very baggy Nike gym shorts. I mean, with the big Nike check mark.
It's because probably 60% of them, or at least I've ever seen in my life, this is personal experience, I don't know if this is an actual statistical fact, tend to be also African American. And that's just more, in line with what the average African American male may or may not wear.
Yeah.
I mean, just to put it, or at least I've seen through my experiences in the South. No, just observations. Don't mean
Just
to.
observations, guys. Hey, it's nothing offensive. It's just the truth. We
I mean,
like
it
to
kind
live
of
by
is a
fact.
little bit, but it's not meant to be taken at harm. But enough of this.
Let's see.
Oh, okay. I'm not in my bookmarks. I was like, oh, how'd that get out? Anyway, by the way, real quick before we switch to football to end down the stretch, Dana White basically already said, yeah, we're going back to France.
Sweet. And that venue looks sick. Speaking of Florida, speaking of Florida versus Utah, I sure wish I would have taken Anthony Richardson before that game at plus 4,000 to win the Heisman.
Yeah. I think when I was at the casino after that game, he was plus 1,600.
Plus 16?
Yeah.
I like that.
I didn't bet Heisman. I didn't really feel confident about any of them, to be honest. Richardson had a good but not great stat line, which I mean, it sounds fucking arbitrary because people were dunking on DJ Uiagalelei having at the greatest stat line because Clemson runs a fucking Mickey Mouse Taj Boyd ass offense, and he had 5 drops. I'm not even joking. DJ had 5 drops in that game.
Really?
2 of them were like plus 20-yard throws that they should have been caught. Especially if you watch the fourth quarter. There's just a fucking confirmation bias that he's fucking washed. But like, in my opinion, if I'm Big Dave, his dad, who by the way, electric on Twitter, I would consider him to transfer somewhere like Oregon State or Oklahoma State or Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Either of them.
Anthony
There's somewhere
Richardson
that will use him. Because you have Polynesian Big Bend.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's some electric tape. Here's some of the fastest speeds over the weekend, but let's take a break from Twitter. Let's go over college football very briefly. This is week 2 coming up. Because week 1 there were a few okay games. Right now, the only real spotlight games from last week were Florida beating Utah. Considered an upset, but I mean, considering they were in Florida.
Well, Florida versus Utah and Florida State versus LSU.
I mean, all that confirmed to me was LSU is still the same old LSU. Doesn't matter if you paid $17 million for Ed Orgeron to fuck off. I don't think he was
Griffin. That was a great game, though.
It was a great game, though. LSU still LSU, though. At FSU, it looks like they're bouncing back a little bit because they had the talent to bang with LSU.
Who the hell is even their head coach? I don't even know who that guy is.
Taggart.
Where did he come from?
Where's Taggart? I'm gonna look this up.
Yeah, who is this guy? Everybody's raving over their new leadership. I have no idea who this guy is.
Mike Norvell.
Oh,
he was the guy at fucking oh shit! I'm trying to remember where he was before.
Just go to his Wikipedia.
He was at Memphis forever.
Oh.
And he went there in 2019. Yeah. Now he's been there a couple years. But anyway. But I mean, let's be honest. The bigger, more athletic team that's plays in Florida year round just leaned on the smaller team from the mountains who aren't used to the fucking humidity of a swamp for 4 quarters.
Right.
I mean,
Brian Kelly, he just on the sidelines, he just looked way in over his head the entire time.
Oh, it's like going from look, I like Notre Dame as a program. I think they ultimately made the right decision because Freeman looked really good, even in a loss against Ohio State. And they were competitive except on offense.
I think a lot of that, though, in my opinion, it's a very unpopular opinion. I don't really care though. I mean, it's just the truth. Ohio State is a lot softer this year than they have been in the past 3 at least.
I don't think that's. I mean, honestly, I like their team this
I
year
don't think
better
that's
than
very.
last
I
year.
don't think that's very. I don't think that.
Wait, you
I
there?
don't think that's very controversial to so. Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Nah, I disagree because I think their defense is actually a little better than it was last year. Now, last year was the softest ever, and they're still relatively soft compared to years past. Uh, but I honestly I think that has a large part to do with Luke Fickle's not there.
Yeah, that's true.
Because Luke Fickle's now the head. Well, not now. He's been the head coach of Cincinnati for a couple of years now. And he just
Right.
got a big fuck you extension because they're going to be in the Big 12 and they're going to get that big conference money.
Yeah, and so let's talk about some of the big games that have. Obviously LSU plus Florida State. That was a great game. Ohio State versus Notre Dame. That was a fun game to watch.
Oh, another fun game that was fun to watch: Akron versus St. Francis because Akron almost lost.
And St. Francis is like
Garbage.
what? They're like what, a D3 school? Like what are they?
D2 probably, not even FCS.
Good
No,
God.
no, they might be FCS because they're Division One in basketball. So FCS, and then I go to FIU beat Bryant by 1 point.
Good God.
By the way, UAB, they're going to be good again in the CUSA, even without what's his name. They actually have a surprising amount of talent.
Dang, I live in Huntsville, Alabama A&M. Y'all gonna let them do that?
Well, yeah. I mean, they didn't even fucking score. They didn't even score in the
God.
backups. A UAB.
Pitt versus West Virginia was a good game.
That was a very good game until the pass went just a little high, and the guy who caught everything all night fucking chipped up pick 6.
Oh God.
Yeah, I mean, well, look, it's West Virginia. They choke in dramatic fashions. It's a tradition against Pitt, really.
Yeah.
Penn State versus Purdue was a great game. All these Thursday games were great. Mizzou basically shitted on Louisiana Tech. Again, a good non-power 5 team.
Which
And
the Penn State versus Purdue game just confirmed for me that I feel like that Auburn has a decent chance of starting out at 5-0, but will then go into Athens and get absolutely cream pied by Georgia. But carry on.
Did I tell you the bet I made Monday morning?
It was something that was like plus 4,000 odds. It was Auburn to win the US.
Auburn to win the SEC West was plus 7,500.
And what was the payout?
7,600. I put 100 fucking bucks on it.
Let's go.
Look, it was one of those, like, if it happens, I can do the math. Every time there's like big rumors that we're about to fire the coach at the beginning of the year, for some reason, like at least in my time of following Auburn, it's going there. It's been a year where we had our magical bullshit year.
Yeah. Well, that was also the Gus era where he was able to pull something out of his ass and he actually wanted to be there. I believe that Harsin is trying to burn the ship, especially if TJ Finley stays the QB1 consistently. I think Harson's trying to burn the ship.
I don't think he is.
Why?
In the moves he's made, because burning the ship in college, it's not like the NFL where like there's a kind of an incentive for burning the ship. If you burn the ship, people don't really forgive that. And a lot of like that's in a way career suicide, because I don't think he'll just be welcomed back to Boise State with open arms after that. Yeah, that's kind of like, you get your balls in your word. You can't break either.
Yeah.
Borrow a line from an overrated movie.
Right.
But no, And I can see with TJ Finley and that he's a bit of a better passer right now than Ashford. But like you don't really have anybody to throw to anyway, so why not just lean into it?
Yeah, but here's the issue. With Ashford, we can run basically with Ashford and the backfield that we have, we can run a Nate Marshall and Trey Mason offense, just run RPO and then catch them with a deep ball here and there. We can run that all day long with them. Whereas with TJ Finley, the guy that threw 2 picks versus Mercer, it's just that to me, I think there's a very obvious route to getting really good really fast, and it's Robbie Ashford running an RPO offense.
Look, I'm 100% agree with you, but from a coach's perspective, that's more work. So sometimes
what are
like,
we?
yeah, fuck
What
it,
are we
he'll figure
supposed?
it out. We promised him the starting job, but
Yeah,
anyway, we'll get to that in a little bit. By the way, ODU versus Virginia Tech in this part of the country, that was a big shock to a lot of the tech people around here.
the ODU versus Virginia Tech. Yeah, you think it's freaking Old Dominion.
One of the youngest programs in the country. Well, they also got one of the Penn State guys that helped Franklin overturn, really rebuild Penn State.
How
And
long
he
has
actually had
ODU?
a lot of guys transfer within the ODU. So this is probably the most talented team they had since Taylor Heineke.
How long has ODU had a team?
I think they started football in like 2005, 2006.
Yeah, that's a little bit older than South. South has had a team since 2008 or something like that.
They're right. I think South might be the youngest of the FBS. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
the
got
youngest
to be
Division One. The youngest Division One is Campbell.
Campbell.
Yep, it's a small school here in North Carolina. They started football in 2018.
Campbell University. Let's see what they got going on.
Hey, go Camels, man.
Is it a nice school?
It's a good school. Academically. It's over by Dunn, North Carolina, which ain't far from Bragg.
It looks nice.
Oh. I mean, it's a good school. I had a buddy went to the law school, which is in Raleigh, not actual Campbell, which is something Creek. I forget. But anyway. Back to this. Also, Duke fucking murked Temple. That's another one of my bets. I had Duke winning the ACC Coastal plus 4,000. Because honestly, the ACC Coastal looks like fucking. It's going to be a bunch of mid teams, and Duke actually at least got Texas A&M's defensive coordinator last year.
Yeah.
Who's honestly, he's really impressed me so far with all the shit he's been saying. And then Indiana upset Illinois because it's Brett Bielema. Like he can't have anything nice since Russell Wilson.
Maybe Kansas won't be absolutely just horribly horrific this year.
TCU is probably going to be the sneaky team in the Big 12 that will actually compete again this year. They have a lot of talent, especially at the skill positions, because they honestly have the best cornerback room in the country. When healthy.
Really?
Noah Daniels is a guy who'll probably be at the top 50 picks if he's healthy all year. And then they have the best college corner, Tre'Davious Hodge, whatever his third hyphenated name is. He's 5'9" and 180 pounds. So he's tiny. He's a Gene Chizik corner. But he runs in the low 4.3s and perfectly mirrors people. So he's incredible in college man to man.
So, and he's at Colorado?
No, TCU.
Oh, I was about to say what?
No. Colorado's ass. Their best player transferred to Oregon. The tire fire game.
Yeah, were we just gonna ignore the fact that Iowa only beat South Dakota State by 4 points?
Because of 2 safeties and a field goal.
Like what?
Their offense only scored 3 points all fucking game. Their defense scored more points.
That is hilarious. North
Uh,
Carolina versus App State.
That was also a game that everybody here was really big on coming in. And I mean,
Okay, so
UNC
basically, either North Carolina's defense is absolute garbaggio, or
uh,
App State has a very elite offense, or it's just both.
uh UNC's corners are mostly transferred over or like guys who never really developed because of Mac Brown and Gene Chiswick. So it's like one guy and a bunch of future insurance salesmen.
Yeah.
So and then App State, they have a like I think he's a 6th-year COVID quarterback. He has an extra year, so he's on the older side, and he's been there for a while now. So this is, I think, is technically 4th year starting.
What's his name?
Chase Bryce,
Yeah. That's right.
and he had a
I know
solid
his
game, except the overthrow that nobody shall mention. But anyway, Rutgers beat Boston College because Rutgers first has actual talent. They just never really use it. Well, they have more talent than you think they would, but not really a lot of talent. Boston College continuing to disappoint.
Hey, Rutgers used to be a powerhouse program at one point in
Oh
time.
yeah, back when there was like 15 men on the field for each team. I'm not even joking. 11 on 11 wasn't even a term yet.
No.
Maryland did Maryland things. Let's see any other games of note. Michigan fucking shitted on Colorado State, and
There's a game. Navy lost to freaking Delaware.
hey, the Blue Hens are one of the better teams in the FCS, man. Joe Biden went there.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey, Joe Flacco went to Delaware.
They should name themselves the Blue Dementia Pills.
Okay. I think they should call themselves the Flaccos because he is already kind of a chicken guy, a chicken looking guy.
Wait, did Flacco Oh yeah, Flacco did go there, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a first round pick out of Delaware. Now you're wondering, how did he go to Delaware? Well, he was originally at Penn State, and then something that shall not be named before we put this on YouTube happened.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then he transferred out.
Yeah.
Well, it was like ramping. I think it was ramping up at the time in the rumors, but it was
A lot of people kind of just like to sweep that under the rug with him, don't they?
No, well, up there, yeah, because Joe Pa was such a like.
I mean, it's one of the least talked about major sports controversies ever.
I wouldn't say least. It was like the talk of the town for like 4 years, and then a lot of shit just happened.
Yeah.
It's one of those like you can only keep it up for so long. It kind of spiked a little bit when they were trying to remove. I don't know if they actually ever did. I don't recall seeing the statue, but when they were talking about removing the statue.
Yeah.
So I do not know for a fact.
NC State only won by 1 point against East Carolina.
ECU, and they got really lucky because ECU missed an extra point. So they would have gone to overtime regardless of that field goal.
Right.
And then the guy just choked a 42-yard field goal.
Arkansas versus Cincinnati. Good game.
Cincinnati's good, but they lost a fuck ton of talent.
Yeah, and Arkansas. Look, everybody can still be doubters about Arkansas. They need to be accounted for. Okay, they're a lot better than what they were.
They're better than they were, but that was also a home game against a team that lost their entire back end. I have no faith in KJ Jefferson against a secondary that actually has a lot of talent on it this year,
which is basically ours.
Most of the SEC.
And then here we go. The moment we've all been waiting for, or that I've been waiting for.
The Houston UTSA game. Well, no, we're almost there. We're gonna edge it a little bit longer. Did you see the Houston UTSA game though?
I didn't.
It went to fucking triple overtime. That game was a fucking shit. It was in the Alamo Dome. They had the fucking whole lower bowl filled out. They were all fucking crazy, going crazy as shit.
I
And it
think
was just
I
a
think
fucking duel.
I think this past weekend what has a great example of how a lot of smaller programs are starting to develop.
It was because NILs have secretly, because everyone bitches about NILs and like, well, the playoffs are still the same. The top teams are still. It's coming closer. The last 2 years are starting to show that they're keeping their guys and not transferring out and up as much as they used to. Really, the only difference is like it's like quite a bit of FCS guys going to FBS,
Yeah.
but like outside that, it's not the big program sweeps as much as it was.
hmm
Or at least doesn't feel as much. But again, UTSA is one of the most underrated programs in the country because they have one of the best recruiters in the entire country. They had the guy who recruited for Texas for like 5 years for the college, and before that, he was a legend, like high school legend. I think he might have been Allen, Texas. I'm not 100% sure on top of my head. I could be corrected, but a long time Texas high school guy goes to UT Austin, is their head
hmm
recruiter for 5 years, and then goes to UTSA, and in 3 years, he turns out basically a team that would go winless into a day like they were one game away from being undefeated.
Right.
They're a good fucking team for that level, and they have a lot of athletes now. And they went head to head with Houston, and Houston probably for the non-power five probably end up being the best non-power five team because Notre Dame's really the ACC at this point.
Right.
So Houston has Holgram. They have a lot. I have a very good college quarterback in Clayton Thune, who honestly, if he keeps playing like he did last week, will probably be invited to a few camp, or not a few camps, probably invited to a few combat or private training thing, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets drafted somewhere in the second day. Anyway,
Yeah.
but moving on,
Yeah.
great game. Highly recommend anybody to check the replay of it. Went to the wire. Also UTSA quarterback, pretty good. Wears number 0 too. You don't see that a lot.
That's awesome though.
Georgia is still Georgia and has talent everywhere. It does not matter how much they lose. They, like Alabama and Ohio State, just fucking reload every year, and it's infuriating.
Yes.
But
And
Oregon, I mean, Bo Nix didn't help them, but if that's your defense after you have Noah Sewell, Lowe, and Gonzalez, and that's the best you could do against Stetson Bennett, who, keep in mind, Stetson Bennett played a really good game. That was the best game
yeah.
he probably ever played at Georgia, which I wasn't expecting. But Bo Nix is still Bo Nix.
Bo Nix is still Bo Nix, everybody. So just a little background. We've talked about my issues with Bo Nix in the past before, but to really go in depth now that it's football season. So my issues really started with Bo Nix when Bo Nix played Florida at Florida in 2019. It was either 2019 or 2020, whenever he was a sophomore. I can't remember. But Bo Nix, there's several reasons as to why I cannot stand him. It mainly involves with his lineage and what he was supposed to bring to Auburn. I love Auburn. I went to Auburn.
Are you sure the lineage thing wasn't a question about out of wedlock pregnancy allegedly? Allegedly. No libel. No libel here. Allegedly.
A guy is bad when Milo's drops you as a sponsor. Okay. So Bo Nix, I have made the prediction. I have had the stance on him that he will not get drafted into the NFL. I've had this stance on him since he was a sophomore in high school, simply because of the attitude he has and especially now after he has transferred out of the SEC to hopefully inflate his stats. NFL teams will recognize that. They will recognize how bad he was in the SEC for 3 seasons, and then they will recognize that the very first jumping memory out of his senior year, the very first memory that you have is him getting annihilated by Georgia in two interceptions. The only hope, the only chance that he gets drafted in the NFL, only chance, is if he is the number 1 or number 2 passer in the Pac-12 and throws for 4,000 yards. That's
All
it.
right. Here's my 3 points. For starters, I don't think he declares this year. I think he takes his 6th year and transfers again because he will be forced out because he will not win the competition next year. He'll probably lose the starting job again. And if I would say he transfer, it would probably be South Alabama, where he'll have a friendly offense. There's no actual competition. And you still say, hey, I'm Mr. Alabama 5-star, all that shit. 2, again, high school recruiting still actually plays a decent part in who gets drafted, especially for guys who are career underachievers. And if you're looking at just like throwing a 7th round fucking pick on some guy you probably won't get on waiver, a few teams will do that, even with character concerns, if they consider you're talented or athletic enough that they feel like they can put you in a locker room and then they'll cut you after if you suck. That's my thing. And the third thing is, I thought he got kicked off from Milo's because he had put a noose around the chicken, or not the chicken, the Chick-fil-A cow head and said, "This is Milo's country."
I was being facetious. I wasn't saying that he got dropped by Milo's because of his skill level, but you know,
he did through a Milo's chicken sandwich.
I understand.
And threw Milo's tea all over the cow.
I understand that teams will use a 7th round pick for a guy that they just see as athletic enough and whatnot. But a lot of seventh round teams or 7th round picks, teams will try and really pick up a valuable asset maybe on special teams or something like that. Which,
it's
why
rare.
the fuck? What I mean, hypothetically speaking, Bo Nix has another terrible year, which is to be expected. And he does workouts and tries to go into the draft. This year's quarterback class, if there was any draft for him to try to do workouts for and try to go into the draft for, it would be last year because it was a weak quarterback class.
No, not last year.
With Kenny Pickett,
like, I wouldn't have done last year because, again, he would be an underclassman still and have that. It's a bit easier for scouts to swallow, and honestly, next year will be better because outside Caleb Williams, there's not a lot of other people shaking out to be like guaranteed. And I don't know how the depth of that class is going to look at the end of the day. But I will say this. I also could say that he might be drafted not at quarterback, but at receiver.
yeah.
I mean, they're just throwing it out there. But moving on, we'll see when it happens, if it happens. Liberty for quadruple overtime with Southern Mississippi. Rest in peace, Frank Gore Jr. And then Vandy barely beat Elon. Like, Elon had a chance going into like the end of the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
And they blew it because it's Elon. We already talked about Florida, Utah. UMass still fucking sucks. Kentucky murdered the Miami of Ohio. Not the worst thing to happen to the Miami of Ohio, but I'm thinking of Kent State. My bad. But moving on, no, I'm thinking Toledo. That was the one that invented ketamine. Or no, Kent State invented ketamine. I think Toledo invented PCP, something like that. But Kentucky, by the way. Oh, we'll go back to the Kentucky later because it's next week. Did you see the Coastal Army game? Coastal outrushed Army.
I did not see that, but I mean, I
They
know that Army pretty
outpossessed
much
Army
runs the
too.
ball like, wow,
They had
Wow,
36
wow.
minutes of possession
wow.
against
Baylor
Army.
versus that's crazy.
Army had 150, like 60, no, 160-ish yards of passing too.
What the hell?
Yeah, that's
That's
bizarre.
very that is very uncharacteristic and random of them.
Well, Coastal Carolina, in my opinion, is the favorite, though, in the Sun Belt. Or they're my favorite. App State will be the contender.
South
And
Alabama has a good football team this year.
they have a better football team this year, but Coastal Carolina, in my opinion, has probably the most underrated quarterbacks in the country. And McGarry,
Yeah.
Caleb McGarry. I think that's just the name off the top of my head. Baylor. I mean, Baylor's still one of the most talented teams in the country, and they have talent all over their team.
Probably the most undervalued top 10 team in my opinion.
Well, yeah, it's Baylor. Like Baylor's always kind of undervalued. Even when they had RG3, they were undervalued.
Yeah.
Louisiana Lafayette not missing the guy who's now the coach at Florida that starts the V. They're not missing him
yeah.
as much, but then again, they also played the school that if you weren't even talented enough, well, if you had enough concerns that even La Tech wouldn't pick you up after you failed out at LSU.
If you can't even get picked up by La Tech, buddy,
If you can't get paid up by La Tech or Tulane, you go to Southeastern Louisiana. Kansas State doing Kansas State things against that very bad South Dakota team. And South Carolina only beat Georgia State by 21. That's not good. And then Ohio State just out offensed Notre Dame. Notre Dame, if the defense didn't give them the premium field position, their offense had no idea what to do. SMU is also the team of Dallas. No surprise. Which, by the way, did you see that fucking ad they had where they openly had Ed Dickerson driving the gold Trans Am, and then they followed up with one of the receivers who had a fucking like Roush Mustang because of the
I know,
NIL
I didn't
deal.
see that.
Yeah, so they're like openly saying like, yeah, we gave that motherfucker a gold Trans Am now. Also, this is one nobody saw coming. Syracuse versus Louisville. Louisville, like, if you were to flip the score, people are like, yeah, Syracuse doesn't look that good this year. Syracuse fucking mollywopped Louisville.
Bad.
Because people forget Blake Cunningham was like touted as he's a guy who could be a breakout guy. Syracuse's quarterback is a guy that he also might be the best running quarterback in the country. He's good.
Oh yeah.
So watch out for Syracuse. They also have another guy who might be a first round pick at corner. Gary Williams or G Williams, Garrett Williams. Very Marcus Petersy. He just kind of is in the wrong offense, in my opinion. Or not offense, defense. Texas, an ugly game against ULM. I mean, I know they won 52-10, but Craig Ewers didn't look like he fit the billing. Stanford, good offensively for their standard. Washington State, kind of a disappointing game against Idaho. Oregon State taking care of fucking business against Boise State. Secretly, probably going to be one of the better teams in the pack. 12. Washington.
Boise State. Obviously, you need Brian Harsin back. Take him. Take him.
Who will we replace Brian Harsin with? Serious question.
Serious question?
Yeah, serious question. Who did you replace him with? Realistically.
Realistically, the easiest one to land would be Hugh Freeze.
No, he wouldn't.
Why?
I remember the scandal.
Well, I don't think I really truly believe in my heart with the most recent new presidential hire for Auburn and him already cleaning house. I don't think he cares about that at all.
I think he really does care because the NCAA is looking for any reason. I know they're dwindling in power as of late, but I mean, shit.
I mean, the NCAA doesn't give a fuck about what. I shouldn't say that, but
You should never say that because
yeah.
the 90s exists. Western Kentucky beat Hawaii, no surprise. Hawaii looks like they're returning back to the cellar of the 12:30 p.m. Eastern time slot for a kickoff.
Hawaii may not win a game this year.
I don't know if they play an FCS team or not.
I mean, that is a very, very possible possibility.
Anyway, and then Sunday, Florida State in the Sickos game of the week, brought to you by the Sicko Committee. One of the best ways to follow college sports. They are truly a fantastic group. Their Twitter feed, all the people who do work for them, highly recommend you go check them out. Fucking nothing but love. Nothing but love. LSU got a miracle, almost cashed on it, on it, and then after a myriad of special teams failures all night, they have a special team failure on the most routine fucking play in special teams, the extra point.
I mean, everybody can blame the overall ending of the game on the guy that muffed the 2 punts, but whenever it came down to it, kicker kicked the ball too low.
Yeah,
just how it is. I don't understand why kickers literally don't just try to do a floater chip shot like a soccer player.
Oh, you know why? It's because the fucking long snapper threw it low because the guard next to him didn't expect to get murdered.
Oh, got absolutely annihilated.
I'm sorry. Your front protection completely fucking failed.
Yeah.
Low or not. Anyway, and then Clemson had a good all-around game against Georgia Tech. I mean, honestly, if you're gonna point to like Clemson not destroying Georgia Tech more than they probably should, give credit to really Georgia Tech's defense playing above their weight for once.
Mm-hmm.
And Dabo Sweeney refusing to even attempt to make the life on his quarterbacks easier. So look, this man got called a golden, like on par with Saban for a couple of years because he had fucking Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence. That's like saying Mike McCarthy's a fucking genius because he had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
You had two back-to-back blue chips. I mean, and now they're back to, we're back to Taj Boyd era Clemson, where they're probably going to choke some fucking game they should win to, like, I don't know, like Syracuse or some shit. But real quick, let's go over week 2 before we briefly touch on NFL.
Okay.
Because again, a long super episode. We're going to split this up in 2 next time, guys. Louisville at UCF Friday. Should be an interesting game. I would say Louisville's the bounce back. Boise State, New Mexico, nothing to see there. Nobody cares about the Lobos. University of Ohio versus Penn State. Again, Ohio, usually solid program. They got paid $500K to get their ass kicked. That's all that game is. Well, probably more than that. But Wake Forest at Vanderbilt. Wake Forest should probably win this. I think Hartman might return for this game or the next one. But we will see. Western Illinois versus Minnesota. Cupcake. Southern Miss versus the University of Miami, Florida. Should be an easy win for Miami. This is just another paid win. Pay no
Oh, yeah.
mind. The Roadrunners of UTSA are at Army, so they're in West Point. Should be an interesting game. Might actually be fairly competitive just because of the nature of the game, how that game will be. But I probably fully expect the Roadrunners to continue a comeback campaign after a very unfortunate loss to Houston on a game they could have won.
Guys, it's like Griff has picked one of his favorite teams that's not named Auburn this season.
Yeah. South Carolina at Arkansas. I don't know. I like all the weird teams that like on NCAA 14 that you would make into super dynasties.
Yeah.
They were one of my favorite ones back then. What's the fucking Roadrunners? Everyone likes Roadrunners. South Carolina at Arkansas, big test for Spencer Rattler. This is was last week a fucking fluke, or are you going to continue to suck? Arkansas is a good team to test that against.
I
Then
didn't,
we
I
have
didn't really watch him this past week. How did he look overall? I don't really hear anybody talking about it.
meh. He did
Just-
not look good.
He didn't look that great.
No. Alabama at Texas, which will be college game day this week. I don't know why, considering that we have there was one game in particular. We have Kentucky, Florida, and USC Stanford. But anyway. Alabama at Texas. Alabama probably crip walks into a fucking victory at this game. Texas did not pretty good. And Alabama is they reloaded. Arkansas State at Ohio State. I'm not going to add commentary. If you know, you know. Duke at Northwestern, so the nerd ball. Duke might be at a disadvantage. Northwestern, and the last time they played, I think had the advantage. It's also the veteran coach versus the brand new guy. Northwestern's coach is a guy who's been there forever. I think it might be Gallagher. I could be wrong, or Fitzgerald. Please forgive me for it, but he's probably secretly one of the better coaches in the Big Ten. And Duke's probably going to be on the losing side of that. Missouri, Kansas State should be a good game. UNC versus Georgia State's going to be a cupcake. Charleston Southern at NC State's a bounce back game. I'm just going to only say the games at note. Speed through this because it's college football. South Alabama at Central Michigan will be close.
Oh, that's South Alabama. I'm actually, if I have the ability to do so, I want to watch that South Alabama Central Michigan game.
It's on ESPN Plus.
That seems like it would be a really good game, actually.
That seems like it's going to be a very good game. We got Memphis at Navy could be interesting. That could be an upset game. Tennessee at Pitt. Oh, Pitt should probably have the advantage again. And then Cincinnati gets a bounce back. App State at Texas A&M.
State versus Texas A&M. Hey,
App
y'all
State
don't-
versus Texas A&M.
Hey, don't sleep on App State.
Watch App State win.
Huh?
Watch App State win.
Dude, if App State wins, guys, I promise I will. This is on video recording. You know what? I'll do whatever y'all want me to. I'll go running butt naked down Madison Boulevard in Huntsville if I need to. If App State wins, and it could happen, I will do something outrageous.
All right, we'll see if we can get the chat to think of something. Chat or comments when we put it up. We are still on my computer away from comfortably doing a live stream with all these tabs, to be completely honest. The last time I did, I can't keep a consistent stream.
Yeah.
Houston at Texas Tech, Eastern Kentucky at Bowling Green, Akron at Michigan State, UNLV at UC Berkeley, Alabama State at UCLA, UAB at Liberty, Kansas at West Virginia. Well, this should be interesting. Here's another game that isn't getting talked about, and it will be a 6 o'clock game, but only on ESPN Plus. Old Dominion at ECU. OD's coming off their biggest win in franchise in a long time, arguably maybe franchise history, outside the bowl game win versus ECU. ECU just had a disappointing loss, but they're one of the better teams of the American Athletic Conference at the moment. I think ECU probably has the edge in this, but this is another game that will probably come down to the wire. Western Carolina versus Georgia Tech. Yeah. And then we have Kentucky, Florida. Probably going to lean Florida. Just how history works. I mean, the all-time rivalry record speaks for itself. And it's going to be at Florida. It's not at Kentucky this year.
You know, a lot of people have, for whatever reason, jumped, or well, they did after this past season, before this season started at least, jumped on this massive Kentucky bandwagon, thinking that Kentucky is going to like be some sort of real sleeper cell. And I don't understand it. I have not been impressed with them at all.
Because they've been steadily better than you would think they would be, but not as good as you would hope for them to be.
Right.
And they have a good coach. They have a very good coach. They do better than expected, considering how hard Kentucky is as a state for football. Just because you're surrounded by other states who poach from you all the fucking time,
Yeah.
and you just don't have a lot of the like blue chip high school guys. It's a combination of all that, and they always have, because within the SEC they always have some talent, but not enough. But better than you think.
Yeah.
So it's all that shit. Florida probably wins. USC at Stanford is going to be a fun game. Wouldn't be surprised if Stanford is competitive and if not challenged for the win. But USC, they have higher aspirations. So that's the nicest way to put it. But USC probably wins. The Spartans versus Auburn. I mean, that's just the cupcake game. That's their tune-up game before Penn State next week.
Woohoo! And I have us winning Penn State. I would take us at a minus. I'd take us at -6.
And then we have a recently turnover-stricken Arizona State versus Oklahoma State. Probably going to lean Oklahoma State, but this is also the type of game Oklahoma State loses. So we will see on that one. Boston College and Virginia Tech, the battle of the who will be irrelevant this year. Probably be Virginia Tech.
And then Hawaii at Michigan. Good God, Hawaii.
Oh, God. A massacre.
Yes.
Eastern Washington and Oregon will be interesting because if Oregon plays like they did against Georgia, Eastern Washington might win. And then we have Baylor versus BYU. That's really underreported. That's going to be an interesting game. And then we have Oregon State, Fresno State. That should be interesting. And Mississippi State versus Arizona. Arizona actually played very well last week. So that is the week 2 of college football. And there are too many fucking college teams half the time. Because it's a long fucking list. But I can now delete this, save some RAM, and very briefly, like a minute, maybe 5 minutes. Anything about the first week of the NFL?
Say that again.
Anything about the first week of the NFL?
Anything interesting to me?
Yeah.
First week. Well, I think that to be honest with you, I think we have a pretty straightforward season coming up. I don't think there's really any ambiguity as to who is going to be the only team to me that might surprise a lot of people are the Vikings. Them and Miami has the ability to surprise people if Tua Tagovailoa steps up. Miami has a pretty good defense, and you're not a believer in their defense.
Not really. They also just lost their basically defensive guy because he found out he was almost traded for Tom Brady and Sean Payton.
Yeah. And I think the Saints season, I don't really know how I feel about them yet. I'm not a believer in Jameis Winston, really. Never happened, but we'll see.
Is it because he's from
the
Bessemer?
The team that I'm most excited to see potentially play out with the regular season is the Panthers, honestly. I think that that they're really being chalked up to they might only be like a 6-7 win team this year, if that. But I think that they could potentially really surprise a lot of people with the Vikings.
I had a clip here. So a few thoughts on week one, just real quick before I get into that one tweet. So tomorrow, well, actually, in 30 minutes it will be today, but tomorrow on September 8th, we have the big kickoff, the inaugural game. Bills versus Rams. It will be in LA. Bills should be the favorite, in my opinion. This is going to be the Von Miller game. The
you think so?
Rams
I would have took it at a pick 'em.
I'm probably leaning towards Bills because historically speaking, the team that wins the Super Bowl always has a bit of a slow start. And I think the Bills are the one team you don't really want a slow start against with how they're built this year.
Right.
And I would lean a little bit more towards the Bills than I would the Rams in that case. But we shall see on that. I've said that too much. Saints, Falcons. The Falcons will play better than people think they will because I do like their quarterback situation at the moment. They are terrible everywhere else.
Yeah.
They have a lot of talent and then a lot of trash.
Saints take that by at least 10 points.
Probably. And then Browns, Panthers, this will be the Baker revenge game. No matter how much he's blocked back, no matter despite the fact that a confidential source or allegedly confidential basically said, I'm going to fuck them up. Again, allegedly. Carolina, probably. This is the game they tranced the Browns. I like the Browns defense. This will probably be Baker's best game of the year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Bears are fucking terrible. Like they have an okay defense and they did a good amount to address some holes, and they have some promising young players. That offense outside Justin Fields, and maybe Komet if he makes the jump is terrible.
Yeah.
So rest in peace, Justin Fields. You had a very good career in Chicago while it existed.
Kenny Pickett,
Bengals
how big are
versus-
your hands?
Well, he's gonna be how big is your hands with that clipboard? because he will be holding the clipboard for Mitch Trubisky this week, or at least until Mitch Trubisky gets hurt or plays bad. Bengals should probably win this, but this is also the AFC North, and this is the Steelers, and they're the St. Louis Cardinals of football. So expect magical bullshit in this game. Eagles, Lions now. Lions, they just came off Hard Knocks.
Yep.
One of the best seasons we had in years before we probably go into a lull of several bad years
Mm-hmm.
before we get a good one again. As a result, if you can see this on the stream, the Lions sold out. They have standing room only in Detroit Field or in Ford Field.
That is crazy.
Aiden Hutchinson's a star. Their 6th round pick, Malcolm Rodriguez, the linebacker. If he didn't make football, he probably would have been a UFC, and he probably would have been a guy who would have probably fought up middleweight at 5'11".
Yeah.
He has classic wrestler eyes,
Really.
just like fucking psychopathic. Like doesn't blink, stares crazy, has that fucking dumb shit-eating grin at all fucking times because he knows.
Like Takeo Spikes.
There's a video of, like, an offensive lineman getting to a point, and he had one of the most beautiful drop to a single leg I've ever seen, and then pivoted and took the back of an offensive line. It was like, and he's in fucking pads.
Yeah. Good lord.
Yeah, but he was a guy who went the 6th round because he's only 5'11", and it was like 228, 230.
Why is everybody rallying behind Detroit out of nowhere?
But because they actually have talent on the roster and likable people, and they just had a massive promotion, and Hard Knocks show how likable that everybody in that team is.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, also, what else are you gonna do in Detroit? Watch the fucking Tigers?
No,
You're gonna go watch the fucking Dead Wings?
they can go watch the Pistons.
Who the fuck is even on the Pistons?
No one worth a fuck.
Blake Griffin still? Is he still there?
I think he is.
Anyway, no, fuck the Pistons. Nobody cares about the Pistons. Even the Pistons don't care about the Pistons. Oh wait, where was he? Where were we? But anyway, I think Lions are a team that they'll probably actually honestly be near the playoffs, but they won't get in. But by the NFC standards, they'll still probably pick like 12
Yeah.
because the AFC is so fucking loaded. Colts, Texans.
Gotta
Colts
take the
should
Colts.
win this game, but they're a bit hit and miss at times within conference. So
That
we shall
Patriots
see.
Dolphins game is going to be competitive.
No, I think Dolphins murder them.
Really? You think they murder him?
They have no offense or defensive coordinator.
The Patriots
They
don't.
also have. They never really addressed the fact that they had all their corners walk.
The
So they
issue
have-
with the Dolphins is that, to me, in my eyes, Tua Tagovailoa has still not proven himself as. I mean, he's the obvious QB1, but
Did you watch their last preseason game?
no, I didn't.
He was dealing.
He was dealing.
He was dealing. He looked like old Bama Tua,
Really?
hitting everybody in space, perfect timing. And again, the Patriots are trotting out a lot of developmental corners. I'm sorry, but look, you have 2 high-end wide receivers. You have a very vertical tight end who can help keep the safeties in the middle. I'm just call me a believer. I like the Dolphins' weapons way more than like the Patriots' secondary. The secondary is probably going to be a disaster this year for them
That's fair enough.
because I don't think they reshuffled that defense well, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is the year that The Patriots go to the top 10, and Bill Belichick is forced to retire.
Yeah.
Again, it's still Bill Belichick, still good coach, but like the cracks are showing.
The
Anyway.
chinks in the armor are finally coming.
You spent a shit ton of money 2 years ago. You put yourself in a bad position, and then you can't re-sign people that you've developed. And you didn't, and you spent your first pick without like doing any value, and you got a guard
Yeah.
that was considered a consensus reach. I like Cole Strange, not that much. Anyway, moving on. Ravens murder the Jets on 9/11, like the Towers did.
Building 7.
Shit, more like ones and twos. Because Joe Flacco's as tall as the Towers. He's about to get fucking.
Wait, isn't Joe Flacco at the Jets?
Yeah, he's a starter week 1.
Yeah.
Because Zach Wilson's hurt from banging too many Cougars.
Yeah. Cougar hunting.
Shit. Some guys just have it easy. Ravens probably win this easily. Jags, I think Jags win this. I think the Washington Redskins, let's go call them the Redskins, or the team formerly known as the Redskins, because the Commanders sounds worse than the fucking DC Defenders did.
Yes, it did.
And I put $100 that the Washington Redskins will be the worst team in the league. Because
Did you really?
for all the reasons people were shitting on the Texans, the Texans have Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith is many things. Cover 2 is outdated. He really hasn't like developed well with the times. He shouldn't have gone to Illinois. But Lovie Smith is likable. Like he
Right.
wouldn't be in the position he was, multiple head coaching gigs, if he wasn't considered like a locker room guy. You can say what you want about X's and O's or not really changing his defense too much. But like I think he's a guy who'll keep the Texans steady. Ron Rivera underperformed last year.
Yeah.
And this year you're gonna be out Chase Young a bit to start the season. Your starting running back gets shot in a carjacking. You just inherited a guy who got traded to you after that team traded multiple picks to get the person, to then give up on them after a year.
B-Rob getting shot in that attempted carjacking, really.
Well, that's what I was saying. He was a starter.
Yeah, and I know and that was a great sleeper pick that I had on my fantasy team, I feel like.
Yeah, on my team too. I put him on my injury reserve though. I drafted him to put him on injury reserve.
Nice.
And then I just like outside Terry McLaurin, you have an average offensive line with a quarterback who likes to hold the ball longer than anybody else. And I Jahan Dodson's okay, but is he going to be another dude? Is he going to be a guy who can be an X if he need him? I don't know.
I don't know.
I think the NFC East it's going to be competitive. I don't think it'll be a good division, but if anybody's going to be bad, it's going to be them.
Oh,
Because
assuredly. I mean,
that's like if they have a bad stretch of just games, I think they implode. I don't think they rally. Anyway, Giants, Titans should probably win that comfortably. Chiefs, Cardinals, probably lean Chiefs more than Cardinals, to be honest. Raiders, Chargers, I'm gonna lean Raiders because this is in LA. And they're still the most popular team in Las Vegas. Or not Las Vegas, and Los Angeles.
yeah.
Packers, Vikings. Probably Packers. Buccaneers, Cowboys. Cowboys are gonna get cooked. They have offensive line issues from the jump.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Bucks
You have
will.
receiver issues from the jump too.
I don't. I think they'll get cooked a lot worse than what the score will indicate. But I see the Bucks winning by at least 10 points, like the Saints game.
Or more. Broncos, Seahawks. Broncos beat the Seahawks, but in a close one.
Yeah.
I think the Seahawks are again another team that will be more competitive than people think. But that's week 1. Should be interesting to see. Will be on September 11th, the most American of holidays for the beginning of football.
Yeah, which is peculiar. I don't know why they did that.
It's because they knew how the foundations we cared the most of, which is opening season football.
Uh,
I don't know. I was just spitballing, but we are running out of a little bit of steam here, and that is all the prep that we had for today. We will be back next week, preferably around Monday. Timing and schedules permit. Let's end this screen sharing. So let's go back to our full screens. So again, thank you guys so much. Please like,
thank you, everyone.
share, whatever that you can. Any suggestions on the comments, anything to improve the show, we'll look at it. We try to improve a little bit here every day. And again, we'll try to be more, as consistent as we can be, time willing permits. We are both very
Right.
busy with schedules in our lives. And again, we thank you guys so much. And again, this is Full Contact Sports, Griff Gambino.
E-money. We out.
Elani and Johnny Walker behind me doing the ballerina. And peace out.
Peace out, y'all.